All right, let's just jump right into it. There's this question, one that feels like it's been pulled straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it pops up in some surprisingly serious places. It's all about a creature so bizarre, so intelligent, and so different from everything else, it's honestly hard to believe we share the same planet. So let's just put the question out there, point blank. Are octopuses from outer space? I know, it sounds completely wild, but once you start looking at the evidence, you kind of start to see why people ask. It's a fun one, pitting some really out there claims against some very down-to-earth evidence. So today, let's unravel this thing. So, okay, where does this whole alien octopus idea even come from? What makes anyone, including, believe it or not, a few scientists, look at this animal and think extraterrestrial? Well, it really all boils down to their biology, which is, to put it lightly, just plain weird. For starters, an octopus has 3 hearts. Yeah, you heard that right, 3. 2 of them are busy pumping blood through the gills, and the third one handles circulation for the rest of the body. But get this, that main heart actually stops beating when the octopus swims. It's so tiring for them that they often prefer to just crawl along the ocean floor instead. And speaking of their blood, it's not even red like ours, it's blue. That's because it's not based on iron, it's based on copper. This protein, called hemocyanin, is actually way more efficient at carrying oxygen in the super cold, low-oxygen waters of the deep ocean. It's a brilliant evolutionary trick for sure, but it definitely adds to that otherworldly vibe. And here's where it gets truly mind-bending. They have 9 brains. You have a main, central brain that does all the main thinking, sure, but then each of its 8 arms has its own mini-brain. In fact, about 2/3 of an octopus's neurons are in its arms, not its head. This means each arm can think and act on its own, solving a puzzle or exploring a crevice, all while the central brain is totally preoccupied with something else. Oh, and then there's their camouflage. This is where it starts to feel less like biology and more like alien tech. They don't just change color, they can instantly change the texture of their skin, creating little bumps and ridges to perfectly mimic a jagged rock or the smooth surface of sand. And they do this in less than a second. I mean, come on, you can see why people start looking to the stars for an explanation. And that cosmic explanation actually has a name. This whole idea didn't just bubble up from internet forums. It got a huge boost when it was proposed in a peer-reviewed scientific paper, which gave it a veneer of real credibility. Here it is. This is the key line from a 2018 paper published in Progress in Biophysics and Molecular Biology. The authors literally suggested that the genes for the octopus's incredible intelligence and all its weird features might have arrived on Earth from space. So what were they talking about? The idea is called panspermia. It's the theory that life doesn't have to start from scratch on every planet. Instead, the building blocks, or maybe even life itself, can travel through space on asteroids or comets. The paper suggested that maybe cryopreserved octopus embryos hitched a ride to Earth, thawed out in our oceans, and started a whole new line of evolution. It's a wild, fascinating idea. But as you know, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And the wider scientific community was, well, let's just say they were not convinced. And to push back on the alien octopus theory, they brought out one of the oldest and most trusted tools in the scientific toolbox. And that tool is Occam's razor. It's a really simple but powerful principle. When you're faced with a bunch of competing explanations, the simplest one, the one with the fewest new assumptions, is probably the right one. So, which is simpler? A complex story about frozen alien eggs riding an asteroid through space, or that they evolved right here on Earth, just like everything else? This idea, this razor that shaves away unnecessary complications, has been a guide for clear thinking for centuries. It's named for the English monk William of Ockham, but the concept is ancient. Basically, don't make things more complicated than they need to be. So let's apply that razor and see what the evidence here on Earth actually tells us. Because when you do apply that razor, you find that the octopus has a very clear, very well-documented family tree right here on planet Earth. The proof isn't floating in space, it's written in their DNA and buried in the fossil record. So here's the scientific bottom line. There is no alien DNA. When scientists sequence the octopus genome, they found it fits perfectly within the known patterns of life on Earth. They are clearly cephalopods, just like squids and cuttlefish. They are without a doubt a product of our planet's own evolutionary history. And we've got the receipts to prove it. Just look at this timeline. Their roots on this planet run deep. The oldest octopus ancestor we've found so far is 330 million years old. That's way before the dinosaurs. These guys are not recent arrivals. They are ancient inhabitants of Earth. Okay, you might be thinking, but how did they get so weird so fast? Well, the answer probably isn't aliens, but a really cool evolutionary idea called punctuated equilibrium. It's the theory that evolution isn't always a slow, steady crawl. Sometimes it takes huge leaps, short, rapid bursts of change. For octopuses and their relatives, it seems like evolution hit the fast-forward button a few times. So, if the evidence is so strong that they're from Earth, why does the alien theory stick around? Why is it so appealing? The answer, it turns out, has a lot less to do with biology and a whole lot more to do with our own psychology. And the main reason is a little mental shortcut we all have called confirmation bias. Our brains are wired to notice and accept information that fits with what we already believe, or, maybe more importantly, what we want to be true. And at the same time, we tend to conveniently ignore anything that contradicts that narrative. The octopus just seems so alien, right? So the idea that they're from space just feels right. It's a much better story. So our brains naturally grab onto the evidence that supports it. 3 hearts, blue blood, 9 brains. And we kind of push aside the more boring genetic and fossil evidence. You know what this is a lot like? Astrology. Horoscopes often feel really accurate because we focus on the vague parts that apply to us and totally forget the parts that don't. It's the same thing here. We focus on the octopus's strangeness because it fits this amazing story we love, the great mystery of the deep colliding with the great mystery of outer space. But here's the most important part. Taking the alien theory off the table doesn't make the octopus any less incredible. Actually, I think it makes it more amazing. It just forces us to expand our idea of what life on our own planet is capable of. I mean, just look at these guys. These are relatives of the octopus. On the left, the deadly beautiful blue-ringed octopus. On the right, the absolutely ridiculous flamboyant cuttlefish. These aren't alien imports. They're masterpieces that evolution created right here. The truth that our world produced something so intelligent and so fundamentally different from us is way more awe-inspiring than any story about spaceships. And that really is the heart of it. You don't need to invent aliens to explain the octopus. The octopus is proof of just how creative and spectacular life on Earth can be, all by itself. So let's end on this thought. The octopus isn't an alien. It's more like an ambassador from a world of evolutionary possibilities that we are only just beginning to explore. It makes us question everything we thought we knew about intelligence and life itself. And really, if our planet was able to create the octopus, it just makes you wonder, what else is possible?